Hello and welcome back to another episode of Buy Now, Sell Now Realty. I'm Jeff Barnes, managing broker and owner of Buy Now, Sell Now Realty here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Now, before we get into this, you guys do me a favor, hit that subscribe button as soon as you come into the video. Also, look down in the description. Support the channel, guys. If you have any questions, you want to email me about real estate, my email is down there. And plus, if you go to my website in the description, you can get a free valuation of the home you want to buy or sell. Just simply put in your address. Guys, we're about to jump right into this thing. Don't flip houses unless you do these 5 things. Do not flip houses unless you do these 5 things. Now, guys, I had some viewers reach out to me and ask me about flipping houses and what were my thoughts on it. Now, I will say this, guys. I know flipping houses, a lot of people do it. A lot of people swear by it. Real estate is the number one investment you can ever do. Banks like real estate. So oftentimes it's easier to get money and that kind of thing. I get it. But all I've seen is horror stories with flipping real estate. And what do I mean by that? You may have a guy who hits on one and loses on the next 10, right? And if we were at the casino in Vegas, nobody would sign up for that. Flipping homes, what I've seen is there's not a lot of people who do it the right way. There's very few who do it the right way and have been able to build it, whether it be single family homes, whether it be multifamily homes, whether it be commercial real estate for that matter too. But the perspective is, guys, I said I'll do a video on flipping homes because, you know, if interest rates fall and all this kind of stuff, more and more people are going to jump into this game. But I think that a lot of people may be missing out on doing it what I would consider the up and up way, the right way. And I'm not accusing anybody else of not doing it like this. I'm just going to tell y'all, as a real estate broker who's been doing this for a number of years, I'm going to tell you what the 5 things you should do in order to make sure that you flip houses in a ethical way and a profitable way. Okay. Ethical way and a profitable way so that you don't lose everything that you have. Let's get into this right now. The first thing you need if you're going to flip houses right now, guys, is you got to have a good contractor. If you guys don't realize the horror stories that you see with flipping houses, and what do I mean by that? I got a guy for this. Oh, I got a guy who can do plumbing. I got a guy who can do HVAC. I got a guy who can do electrical, right? Versus having a good contractor. What makes Lennar and David Weekley and some of these other major builders, what makes them grow? Guys, they're not skipping the process. They understand that if you want to grow, there's order before increase. So you got to have a good contractor, because now, guys, you're building it the right way. People can trust the quality of the build. When people are riding by your property, they just don't see a free-for-all on the property as you're rehabbing it. And again, a lot of people lose it because when you try to be a hustler, just know your subs are going to out hustle you, because what are you going to do? Turn them in? Well, as a flipper, you should know you can't turn me in if I screw you over, because you're trying to go around the system as well. Get you a good general contractor, guys. Is it going to cost you more? Absolutely, it's going to cost you more. But if you don't flip this property quickly, you're going to be losing your butt. And a good general contractor going to keep your project in on a timely fashion. And those subs that he has know not to screw him over, because he's feeding their household. He's the one calling them with deals and that kind of thing, and calling them with jobs. So make sure you get a good general contractor. A lot of these flippers are trying to avoid a contractor because they think the contractor is charging too much. But now, guys, it's different than what it was 10, 15 years ago. Okay, it's different than what it was 10, 15 years ago. You need to have a solid foundation with a good contractor and do this the right way if you truly want to flip houses. That leads me into number 2. Number 2, what you need to do is have a good relationship with the permitting and inspection department for your local municipality. Y'all see, because here's the deal, guys. If you got a good contractor, that's going to lead right to number 2. Number 2 is those permitters and inspectors can make your life miserable if you out there doing some unofficial not using licensed subcontractors, all that kind of stuff. The last thing you need is for the permitting department to get a call and they send an inspector out. Inspector puts a red flag on your property and that kind of thing. You need to make sure that if you got a good general contractor, you're automatically going to start having a good relationship with permits and permitting and inspection. Because one of the things you're going to find, guys, a lot of people are starting to call on this unlicensed activity now. And that's what's really hurting a lot of hurting a lot of flippers right now, because they don't have the money to pay the contractor, or they don't want to pay the money to pay the contractor because of the amount of money they got to make on the sale. Why am I telling you guys this? If the permit and inspection, no matter what you do, something's going to have to be adjusted, something's going to have to be redrawn. Well, now that you got a good licensed contractor, the licensed contractor is going to take care of whatever changes they make, but that licensed contractor is also going to have access to a good architect and a good engineer, so that when your drawings and stuff have to be changed, or things need to be updated, or letters need to be written to approve what you have built so that you don't have to make those changes, all of it is coming together now. Got to make sure you have a good relationship with permitting and inspection. And when the inspector comes out, guys, don't be mean to them. These people can make your life miserable. Is it fair? No, not fair at all. But don't be mean to an inspector when they come out. Listen to them. Let them come out, tell you what to do. Because if you got a good licensed contractor knows exactly what to do. Here's the best part. Inspectors are typically better when it's a licensed contractor on site versus when it's just you who they know don't know everything that you should be doing. A licensed contractor handles the inspections for you. That's the best part about it. Inspectors act completely different when they know it's a reputable licensed contractor and your drawings are stamped and sealed by a reputable architect and engineer. Make sure you have a good relationship with permitting and inspection. Make sure you go down there and get to know them. Let them know what you're doing. Guys, trust me, it makes the process go so fast. Fake it. You don't have to like them. You're just trying to get this home flipped. That leads me to number 3. This is going to be a little crazy because a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this. And hold on. A lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this. Get your real estate license. Guys, it's important that you have a real estate license because that's going to help you understand the laws around real estate. Now, a lot of flippers don't want a real estate license because now you can't claim ignorance if somebody said, hey, did you know this was illegal? Well, if you're a real estate license holder, you can't say, nah, I didn't realize it. You're held accountable for following real estate law. This is why, guys, if you're thinking about somebody who's going to buy the property, they know you got a licensed contractor. They know you got a reputable association with the actual permitters and inspectors. Now you got your real estate license. What does that prove to the person you're going to flip this to? But also, what is it going to prove to the permitting department and to your general contractor? You know what's going on. You're not trying to do any fly-by-night stuff. You're not trying to run a hustle. And I'm not saying that real estate agents don't try to run hustles, but in the flipping game, a real estate license can set you apart. Right now, I'm not saying that you need to have your real estate license active and all that kind of stuff, but you do need to have a real estate license just so you know you're not running afoul to certain things. Okay. But also, too, when it's time to flip that house, right? When it's time to flip that house, you can represent yourself. You can represent yourself. And if the buyer comes without an agent, right? Look at the money you save because you can handle the deal. Okay. But even if they do come with an agent, you can negotiate with that agent and pay as little as possible because you are a real estate agent. Always know, guys, that real estate agent component can be the difference in saving you some percentage points, but also, too, improving your credibility. I'm telling you guys right now, I love when I deal with if I'm representing somebody and the home that was rehabbed is done by an agent. I love working with the deal because it's simple, right? Every time I've worked with one, they lay out the entire process of what they did. Quality is there and all that. They're being held to a higher standard. And what you want to do if you want to flip houses is you want to have a high standard, because if you ever get known for having shoddy work, you're not going to be flipping houses long. Here we go, guys. The next thing, this is what I'm telling you. Licensed contractor, great reputation at permitting and inspection. A real estate license. Why? Because that's going to feed into the next one. I need to find me a source of funding. If I have those first 3 things, I'm opening up a network to a lot more funding sources. And why? I need a good funding source so that they can pay for my construction and flipping expenses. but also to finance the person who's going to buy it. You see what I'm saying, guys? You're setting up your own ecosystem. You're setting up your own snow globe. You got to have a closed loop system if you're going to be flipping houses. And what do I mean by that, guys? The person shouldn't have to go anywhere. If I go to Lennar or used to be MI or David Weekley or whoever, if I go to any one of those builders, that loop is closed. You need to find it. There's an agent sitting there. There's a finance person sitting there, right? They got their own title company. They got everything already laid out. If you want to flip homes, you're going to have to be a miniature version of that, guys. So you got to have access to a funding source. Now, you can try to go to a bank, you can try to go to a mortgage broker, or you may have somebody that you know that's financially in position to help you on both ends. But that's really what it comes down to. I got to have somebody who's going to give me construction loans, and I got to have somebody who's going to finance the buyer as an option too, right? Because now, guys, you can, and if you got that real estate license, you can actually now utilize that in the mortgage, in the buy process, the sales process. Because look at how many times these big builders say, if you use our lender, we're gonna give you this many points off. We're gonna buy down this. We're gonna give you this seller credit. We're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you that. It's a closed loop system. Make sure you have access to a funding source. And finally, guys, target nice neighborhoods. And I know this is gonna sound bad coming from me, but target nice neighborhoods. The days of going into some of these lower socioeconomic areas and trying to put up a McMansion or put a nice house in the middle of the hood and hope that the rest of the homes come along. People don't want that anymore. People want nice neighborhood, safe neighborhood, quality build, right? Quality build. Because if you do this, guys, if you want, look, can guys go into some of these bad neighborhoods, put a nice house up and flip it and that kind of thing? Yes. And you do that for cost reasons, basically, right? But at the end of the day, you want to go to nice neighborhoods. If you're not going to nicer neighborhoods, guys, there's foreclosures happening in those neighborhoods too. It's abandonment happening in those houses too. It's property tax liens in those houses too. Short sales are happening in those neighborhoods too. That's why you got to go to the nicer neighborhoods. And guess what, guys? That's better because when you do those first four things, they're going to be more apt to want to work in neighborhoods like that. They're going to be, if your funding source sees that neighborhood, and if your general contractor sees that neighborhood, and be honest, permitting and inspection, just certain things that they know go on in that neighborhood. And that's why you want to target good neighborhoods, guys. If you're targeting some of the sketchier neighborhoods, just know on the buy side, when it's time to sell it, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder to sell that buyer on why they should come to you. Basically, guys, you're becoming a smaller builder and mimicking what the bigger builders do. Okay. So at the end of the day, make sure you buy that's something that's close to live, work, play. Live, work, play. That's why I'm telling you about targeting the nicer neighborhoods. Can I live here, work here, play here? And if you start going to some of these sketchier neighborhoods, they can live there, but they don't work there and they can't play there, which means that house is not going to have the value that you want to sell it for. I appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of Buy Now, Sell Now Realty TV. Again, I'm Jeff Barnes, owner and managing broker of Buy Now, Sell Now Realty here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. You guys do me a favor, get down in the description. If you have more questions, my email is below. If you want a free valuation, property valuation of what the house is worth that you want to buy or sell, just give me a call, guys. And until next episode, talk to you soon and make it a great week.